welcome to the show. I'm Sherry Schreiner. I lost contact for getting hit with a thunderstorm rolling in. Oh, the drama. Right when the show begins. Here comes the thunder, right? So, if you can't hear me in the chat room, let me know. Chat room's open. A few folks that want to gab. And, I keep my eye on the thunder here. I was looking outside earlier, and it looked like snow clouds coming in. I'm like, oh. But it's usually the Alfred Hitchcock skies we get here year long. Those gray clouds, no sun, just Alfred Hitchcock skies. Yeah, it's typical of what they've been doing to the skies. Because they're always trying to cover stuff up. They're always trying to hide everything. And so I like to go out about 4 or 5 a.m. because typically that's when the gray tech fades away and you can get a view of the sky at times, figure out what the alignment is, what's going on. For most of you, just look to see if you see anything new. Constellations are moving across the sky, heading into spring. So Orion looks like it's moving. Oh, here they go. Orion looks like it's moving from southwest over to the west. I just made a mess. I can't win for losing. I just spilled my water all over the place. But I was looking at the news, and there's a lot of drama going on with the reptilians being rounded up. And I've been talking about this all week because this is what's going on around us now, folks. And I've been trying to explain the different factions in the background. I know a lot of other people get involved with all the dramas of what agencies are doing what and stuff like that, and that's useful. But basically what's going on is reptilians are being rounded up. You'll know them as the globalists because that's the deep state. The entire deep state shadow government is run by the reptiles. And with Trump being in power, it represents a different group of aliens. Because he comes through the Freemasonry line. And yeah, the Freemasons, most of them are reptilians. But the god of Freemasonry, the ruler of it, is a tall gray alien. And so Trump, although he is a part of the whole umbrella of the Illuminati, he is a different branch of it. He's not part of the faction that was run by Rockefeller and Bush and Cheney and Kissinger and all them. So they're a different faction. Like I said, they're factionalized, and they all hate each other, and they fight against each other. But either way, they all belong to Satan. That's why he never worries about anything. Because you can't even run for president unless you're pre-approved. And obviously Trump was pre-approved, right? He didn't just come out of nowhere. He was pre-approved. In fact, from the talks of it, Hillary handpicked him because she thought she could easily beat him. And then the American people said, heck no, Hillary's got to go. She found herself on the short end of the stick. And Trump surprisingly found himself as president of the United States. So they're rounding up the reptilians. And that's why the mainstream media is so vicious against Trump. That's why we can't get a day's worth of peace without the mainstream media spitting hate and fear, trying to knock Trump out with this stupid Russian crap. They're all running scared because they're all controlled by the reptile faction. The mainstream media is the CIA. They are part of the deep state. These aren't just anchors that they get these jobs because they went to college. None of them went to college. They're all idiots. They're all clones and replacements. You know, old school journalists, you went to school, got a journalism degree, worked your way up the ladder. No, that doesn't happen anymore. Now you're appointed. You're a transgender beauty queen picked up by Fox to read news. That's basically what they all do. Well, if you're MSNBC, you're you're a lesbian activist, and they like you, so they give you as a show. Or you're a transgender, big mouth. That's how they are, folks. That's how it is. It has nothing to do with going to college and working hard. That's the lie they sell the American people. Go to school, dream big, work hard. They get you nowhere if you're not in their bloodline. Because if you're not their bloodline, you don't have a dream of getting rich in this country. Because if you get rich and you're not one of theirs, they'll take it all away from you. That's how they are. So the A-list celebrities are all reptiles because they've all sold their soul to Satan. They've all been soul scalped or replaced. They're even working on the A-list sports figures now. The people on TV, you don't get a show by chance, and that doesn't mean that means everybody. Everybody. I used to be a big holdout on Tim Tebow, thinking, no, one of us got in. He's really a Christian. You know, you really root him on. So you figure out you've been lied to and played the whole time. They all have to sell out. There's nobody squeaking in. Because if they give you a taste, and they say, okay, we're going to let your album go to number 1, or we're going to let you have a reality show, and then they come back after the first season when it's been successful and you made all that money. Say, okay, if you want season 2, you got to sign the dotted line. See, that's why I could never get into this Duck Dynasty crap. None of this stuff on TV. I don't buy into the lies. I don't buy into it. I don't trust them. I know better. There's no Christian TV. It's deception TV. The Masons own TBN, the Beast Network. The only way you get a religious show on TV is to sell out. Have you seen how gross Joyce Meyer has become since they replaced her? That clown, goofy look of hers? Because of her extra wide reptilian mouth, and so, you know, it extends, and so she has that goofy clown mouth. All of them, folks. They've all been replaced. I have an article on my website, SherryShriner.com, that talks about soul scalping and how they do it. Because I actually literally saw it happen last year. In fact, it was what was it, May last year? May. Father let me see it. A famous celebrity pinned down on a table in her own house and a long wormy serpent thing shoved down her mouth. That's how they soul scalp you. So now the serpent controls her body and she's just stuck in limbo. That's what happens to them. They're in limbo. The humans are in limbo because they no longer control their bodies, so they go to the fifth dimension. One of the things plays them on Earth. There's also been a huge thing where they've just been killing people and replacing them with transgenders, or not even killing them because sometimes they just have the one stay home and they have the other one out. Because the transgender needs to get practice playing that person. So the lizards are mad. The lizards are losing control of their deep state, of not just America, but the whole world. Because the other faction, the Ashtar faction, is rounding all the reptilians up. They're rounding them up. They get ready to take over the whole world with their scheme. Their new age of enlightenment, their golden age of Gaia. Yeah. The Pope's going to announce Sananda's arrival, and the Muslims are going to see Maitreya arrive in a spaceship. And oh boy, here we go. I don't think they're going to need to get control of the media before they arrive. No, the Ashtar Command is the one, the Aryans, that Hitler was trying to prop up back in the day. And what happened was what we call the deep state now, this group of lizards that controls all that, mounted a coup against Hitler. And they worked with the Japanese faction of theirs. And so they had the Japanese bomb Pearl Harbor so it would give us an excuse to get involved with World War II so we could go over there and oust Hitler out of power. America was been taken over by a rogue reptilian faction at that point. Not a rogue, they're all rogue. It's just different groups than the one Hitler was working with. So then we got involved and took the power away from Hitler to establish his Aryans on Earth, the tall whites. And ever since then, we've been in control by the reptiles. And they've controlled everything about our country. And this goes for Europe, too. This goes for all of UK. The Queen was the chiefest of the reptiles. Her and her lizard family. And so now, after about, 100 years? Almost 80, 90 years? This reptile faction is finally going down. It's finally going down. And this is the faction that's been in charge of our military, all the child trafficking around the world, run by the Pentagon, folks. You can pick up all these bottom feeders all you want to at DHS and California, and that they're giving you all the bottom feeders. Meanwhile, the generals that run this stuff, and I mean generals, you don't hear a breath about them. You don't hear squat. You might hear about Pizzagate, because that involves some politicians in D.C. Who supplied the kids? Pentagon. I mean, if you're in a war to stop child trafficking and pedophilia, don't you go after the suppliers? Pentagon. And I'm never going to shut up about Pentagon. That ticks them off to no end. Because that's where the source is. That's where the suppliers are. Air Force, Navy. The Air Force and Navy have combined to become the most destructive military on this planet. Because not only are they involved in running the drugs, they're running the child trafficking, and they run the chemtrail programs. And they hide their budgets in each other's numbers. Like if the Navy's running a project, the Air Force will bury it in their budget somewhere under something so no one can find the money if all the Navy's paying for something. I mean, that's what they do. They just hide budgets within each other's. Trillions of dollars go missing, and it's a headline in the mainstream news, and then that's it? Really? Trillions of dollars? They could have given every American citizen a couple million to live nicely and pay off their own debts. No one even knows where this money goes. Now, I know in child trafficking, they're spending about anywhere from $40 to $100 million a week. Not a month, a week. But when you're talking trillions of dollars, where does that kind of money go? That's just numbers on the screen at that point. So, they're still rounding up the reptiles. Got to round them up before Ashtar can arrive, the tall grays. They don't want bullied by the mean reptiles. I don't think they're any better, folks. They're not exactly vegans. They eat humans. They may not be into the raping and the pedophilia of humans, but they are hugely into crossbreeding and making hybrid kids all over the place through crossbreeding, and they eat humans. They have diner bases where they feast on them. If they really want to kill Trump, how do you kill clones? I mean, they tried to kill Obama. I think they actually did kill a clone of his. Well, yeah, you just bring out another one. Yeah, they may have gotten to kill Kennedy, but after that, I mean, presidents have been cloned. They'll have 8 of them in waiting. Why do you think they have a lab underneath the White House, folks? It's a lab. Hello, it's not a medical doctor facility. It's a lab. They grow them like plants. You know, you can grow a clone in 3 days. Of course, it's probably a lot less now. And they always have them around. The weirdest thing about this whole administration is Trump is still alive. The original is still alive. I just don't know where he is. The clones are out, and people are putting videos out of Trump shape-shifting and all that. That's the clone. The clones are hounded by demons and aliens, reptiles, whatever. There's no souls. They're just empty vessels, so something's controlling them, right? But the real one is still alive. And his kids are still alive, but the ones we see are the replacements. Which is new, because they killed the original Barry Soetoro, the original Barack Obama, back in 2012. And so since then, you've just been seeing the shell, the clone Obama. Next ones will be, the Queen will come out eventually as dead. I don't know which day they're going to bring her out. Trump, or Bush Sr., Kissinger, Cheney. Hey, maybe even Roe v. and Rumsfeld. Yeah, those are my two favorite guys. Back in the day. That whole administration was... You thought the Obama administration was corrupt? You have no idea about the Bush administrations. Actually, on the scheme of things, if you look on the calendar, the days of Noah, this is actually the time Noah had been building the ark, and he's getting ready to get in it. And remember when they put the family in and they waited for 5 or 7 days and then the door was shut? That's coming up. That's all coming up. So right now we're kind of like this day, 6,000 years ago or whatever. Noah was putting the animals, the angels were bringing the animals to the ark. This is what was going on back in the day at this time. That's cool, huh? And then next week, like I think it's April 10th or 13th, is when the door of the ark was shut and the rain began. Today, actually, on the Enochian calendar is the day, back in the day, that Yahushua arose from the grave. Today would have been the day. We're heading into the Passover feast. This has been the Passover, Feast of Unleavened Bread week for back in the day. They would have been celebrating Passover. And then next week, on the 10th, when we're celebrating Passover on our Gregorian calendar or Hebrew calendar, whatever you want to call it, is when Noah was entering the ark. Kind of cool, huh? I like knowing what was happening in the past, correlating to the times we're in today, because I think we can get a picture from that. The Lord always uses feasts and events from the past, because He says nothing new under the sun happens. So we can learn a lot from correlations, right? Anyway, folks, get the Orgo out. Piss off a reptile. They hate our Orgo and it burns them. It'll crash their ships. It malfunctions the clones and synthetics. Somebody needs to really go to CNN and MSNBC and start Orgoing those headquarters really well. If you live in Atlanta and New York, get those places bombarded with Orgo, especially Atlanta. CNN headquarters, deep state headquarters. They call it the Clinton News Network, only because she was deep state. So she was protected by them because she was CIA. So was Billy. They were CIA. Obama was CIA. Well, maybe not Obama, but Barry Soetoro. The guy who took over. Get him where we're going, folks. Let's burn them up. Let's make them miserable. Let's get this show on the road. Let's get the reptiles out of here. I'm not saying anything good's going to happen doing that because we just have one thing after the next coming up, but it takes care of one problem. We have more coming up to focus on. People think we're heading into a time of peace and prosperity. Pull your heads out of the sand. Do you really think the Father above is just sitting there waiting to make you all multi-gazillionaires? This planet isn't headed for reconstruction and restoration. It's headed for destruction. Trump wants to build a high-speed train. He may as well wait until after the pole flip, don't you think? That's got to be a pole flip. Oh, but no, the Earth can't flip. It's flat. Don't listen to idiots, folks. Anyway, folks, be back next week. It'll be the first week of April. I'm excited about April. Show's already over. Till next week, everybody. Don't forget to go to SherryShriner.com. Click on that donation page and make a donation to your favorite ministry on the planet. Till next week, everybody. God bless.